when it comes to the series Dexter Resurrection, I'm going to be 100% honest and say I actually thoroughly enjoyed it for so many reasons. Firstly, I just really enjoyed the story with Dexter, seeing him move to New York and dealing with these three identities. Not only that, but him dealing with his son, helping him from a distance and then up and close, and seeing that he's trying not to mould him like Harry moulded him, and if anything, give him his independence and just make sure he's going in a better path than he does, and realises that he has the same moral code as Dexter, but he doesn't go to extreme lengths that Dexter would. Another thing I loved is seeing Harrison getting a bigger story, as whilst in New Blood I enjoyed seeing Harrison and that story, but I think they barely scratched the surface, whilst with this they add so much depth to the character. They give him a great story and arc to follow, and honestly a great dilemma to throw him into in the very first episode, and I think this is how you write a better version of Harrison in comparison to New Blood. But the main thing that I loved from the story perspective was seeing Dexter allowing himself to be in a room with other serial killers and him infiltrating this particular place, and then the tension and fear of seeing Dexter being exposed or worse, killed by these other serial killers. It was such edge of your seat moments. It was enthralling. What I really enjoyed from the killing aspect of the show is seeing Dexter having to act so quickly. Very few of his kills are actually planned, it's more spur of the moment, which is very new to see this character do, as in the original series this was a rare occurrence to see Dexter acting on his feet and killing, but for this was the primary way of doing it. Very risky, and a lot of times I thought it was quite an intriguing element to add, to throw him into not new territory but somewhat newer than in comparison. The show has a great amount of humour, very much like the original series and Original Sin and even New Blood, which I really enjoyed. The humour was great to see, especially when it was in quite dark and disturbed episodes, and it just lightens that load. And then the violence in this show, whilst I would say it's more than the original series, it's definitely not on the same graphic level that Original Sin was, but it was still shocking to see, which I think is great that we've got people who've been making this show since 2006 and they're still able to shock the audience. That's quite a cool thing, if anything. Now, when the show dealt with bringing back old characters, I think they did this in an amazing way, as it could have been so easy for them to just throw in the old character now and then in each and every episode for fan service, but they decided to do it even better. Give us about a 1-2 minute clip and then we move on, and I really enjoyed that, as it was great to see these characters, but they were greatly used for plot device and nothing more. They weren't overused. It was a great short scene and that's it. What I really loved is the new characters that they gave us, as they were quite intriguing characters themselves, such as Blessings. As while I found him an interesting character, I just felt his plot was a bit reductive. But then when it came to the detectives who were investigating the main murder in this show, that was very hooking, especially with the character Claudette, who I found to be a very weird but in a good way character. She's very quirky but very good at her job, and even though she is investigating Harrison and you're supposedly on the opposite side of her, I still found her to be a very intriguing and tenacious character, especially with how she investigates, and I just loved her quirkiness, which you see even more of in the finale. Now, when it comes to the finale, I'll be honest, it was one of the most tense and edge of your seat episodes I've seen in Dexter in some time, as we are seeing Dexter being put into all types of situations along with Harrison, and even when you think that he has succeeded and he's just about to finish, you do feel like his luck's just about to run out, as he is literally playing with fire. I don't want to go into too much description, but if you know what I mean, you are on the edge of your seat just begging him to leave just because you didn't want to see this character get caught. Luckily he didn't, but the way they built it up was fantastic. Now when it comes to criticisms, I'm going to be honest and say I'm struggling to think of any, as I thought the character development was amazing, story was even better than I thought, and that's quite a big thing for me, as I was very much sceptical about what they showed in the initial trailer and the whole idea of the show, but they pulled it off with amazing grace. Now, if I did have to critique something, it would be the spirits that Dexter sees. They need to de-age them, especially when it comes to his brother Brian, who we see in the last episode. Even though, yes, he is the older brother, he was murdered 20 years ago, yet he looks like the same age as Dexter, which baffles me, if I'm being truly honest. Why is the spirit that he murdered 20 years ago aging as well? It just doesn't make sense, but again, I think it's a very petty thing to bring up, but literally that's all I can think of. Overall, this season is fantastic to watch from a story perspective and character perspective, and that anxiety of seeing this franchise being butchered has all but diminished thanks to this series, and because of that, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the second series of Resurrection. Is this show good? In the words of Deborah Morgan,
oh, sweet Mary Mother, fuck, that's good.
Rating wise is a 9 out of 10. Now, when it comes to would I rewatch it? Fuck yeah. Honestly, this is a fantastic series, like I've said, and I would say it's better than the last 2 seasons of the original series, and I think it could be in the top 5 Dexter seasons of all time. Again, I know there's recency bias, and I'm not sure if I'm including Original Sin at this point, so again, that's a whole different type of conversation, but that's just my opinion. Now, when it comes to recommendations, I'm recommending everything and anything Dexter related, especially when it comes to the TV aspect. Even New Blood, which I know I have had a lot of issues with, I do need to go back and rewatch it, but even when I first watched it, I thought it was really funny, and it was doing some decent things. Now, for other shows, I would say Barry. I talked about this on my Original Sins review. You could see that both characters are very similar. They've got a dark past, and they're trying to keep that from the people in their new identity. With Barry, he's trying to keep it from his acting class, but it keeps conflicting. And then with Dexter, he's trying to keep it from Miami Metro, but it keeps getting involved. And we both see them trying to keep it away from the people they hold dear to them. And then lastly, I recommend Obituary, which again, I think is a fantastic show, very similar with Dexter, and I will keep recommending it, hoping it gets a second series. Those are my recommendations. This has been my review for Dexter Resurrection. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe, but most importantly, thank you and have a nice day.